since value proposition is really key, how do you define value?
When you say value, you're talking about, because I was talking about values of people in terms of what they stand for. Or you're going to the...
I'm talking now about value proposition that exists in business environment we all operate under today. Right? You know, if you're offering a value proposition, recognize you should be up.
Yeah.
Don't, then you're in trouble. So how do you define value in terms of value proposition?
A value proposition would be a composite of so many moving parts that it's not just one thing. It's not the price point, and that's, I think, most of us all fall to this guise of thinking, well, if I just lower the price, it'll be there. Value is, to me, a composite of everything from the plate to the environment to the hospitality to value. I believe is probably an equation of about 12 different moving parts that ultimately equal value. And I know I didn't give you the best answer I could on that, but I'm telling you, I don't believe it's a price point.
I agree with you wholeheartedly that it's not price point. I mean, because the standpoint of church, from my own experience, we're attracting from a lower price point coming up. People aren't willing to pay a lower price for a question of product. Money is too valuable for them. So what they may have before, today, they pay a little bit more, but get the guarantee of a good experience.
Yeah.
So price point, I think, is an issue, but not the issue.
It comes down to understanding and empathizing with where they're at. We've had clients, as I'm sure you all have, that have booked with us every year, and this year when the phone didn't ring and we call them up, they tell us about how many cuts or layoffs they've had, and we try to modify and adjust to where we can still deliver the program that they like. It may be slightly modified, but in the end, from a service standpoint and every other aspect of our delivery, it's what they want, to where when they're in a stronger position, we'll be there for them and they'll be there for us. But you adjust to accommodate whatever's going on based on that particular client that you've known for so many years. Yes? Sorry? Well, again, value comes down beyond pricing. It really is. It's about points of service. It's about being engaging. It's empathy. It's recognizing time to. I think on one of the cards I have lagniappes. Again, it's a hickeyism. Give them a little something extra. Value to me is something that is it's a sum of the entire experience. When I opened up the Cumming restaurant on 400 in November, it was an election day, November the 4th of 2008, and we opened with a value menu. And there was a page that flopped in the middle and said value. And the first thing it said on it was an open-faced sandwich for $6.99 that had fries and everything else. And guess what everyone ordered? They ordered the value menu. They ordered, that was right at the heart and soul of when we needed to watch our pockets more than anything. I sat there and thought, they're never going to know about my fried green tomatoes. They're never going to know about our mac and cheese that make you want to slap your mama. I mean, we have some great traditional trimmings and side items. They're not going to know because they got the value plate that has this. So my little something extra was said, I need 14 plates in the window with little slices of hickory smoked turkey, and I want another 14 dishes of mac and cheese. I want fried green tomatoes and steamed cabbage, and I just had food to come flying out and setting on the table for them to sample and experience that. So I think value comes down to the fact that we don't use our pies the next day, and that's a point of pride that we just don't use them. And so at 9 o'clock, and we've trained them like Pavlov's dogs, 9 o'clock at night, I started handing out free pie. And in this restaurant, I have 3 guys who come in here about 9:15 going, free pie. I said, sure, why not? Even if I don't have it, I'll make them a pie, because it's one of those things, that's to me is value, is when you recognize that if you're doing that kind of energy and the others aren't, there's a good chance they'll be back in your restaurant very soon.
What's your limit? How many restaurants do you operate where you
I'm done. I'm telling you, 5 of these versus 40 of Ted's, and there's one word we have not talked about, which is dilution. Dilution, Nick freaks about dilution, and we talk every day about that very word. And dilution is what started to occur in our operations here when I got hooked on that crack going out selling the caterings and all. I got diluted to the point where I wasn't paying attention to fundamentals. So I'm telling you, to instill that passion for the guest and those things, 5 operations, it's plenty, isn't it, Mike? Yeah.
Brian, what we handed out were his 7 tips for success, which really capsulizes as well, and then his famous recipe, their famous recipe. Just read
Yeah. Well, the local part, being in your community, we give till it hurts. I have restaurants that sometimes have weeks where we lose money, but we also participated in 6. In Forsyth County, we have 2 Boy Scout banquets this week. We just did the Forsyth County Board of Education Excellence for Teacher of the Year, 320 people. I mean, we gave and gave and gave, but we're getting it back because we're probably one of the busiest restaurants in Forsyth County because of it. Being in the community is not something that is optional, I think, in my book. We always talk about the 7 Ps and measuring twice on once. That's just something I probably obsess about making sure it's done right. The Magic 5 formula, again, Hickey's going to be happy he's been quoted so many times. This came from the cooker, and he said, I want to keep this as simple as I can. He says, if all of your managers are happy, you have a very good shot that should trickle down to your employees. Now, imagine if every one of your employees was really, really happy. Okay, got it. Now imagine that kind of trickling over to your guests. Imagine if all your guests left happy. Everyone leaves happy. You draw the line, plus, plus, plus equals growing sales, which equals growing profits. It's not rocket science. In fact, it's so elementary, it's almost embarrassing to put it on a piece of paper as one of my tips for success. But it's so fundamental, I've never forgotten those things because those are the blocking and tackling of what our business is about. Perform random acts of kindness, provide lagniappes, and teach moments of truth. I think we're always supposed to be coaching. That's our job, is to be coaches. And then, not to include Blink, but I've got 3 of my favorite books on there that I felt, particularly 7 Habits. When we did the Green Hills Grill, and this is a true story, Hickey could be a little cynical at times, as can I. So we would talk about Cubby's emotional bank accounts, which is where you take a business card and write down at the top a plus sign and a negative sign. If you say something great to a person, something nice, something that will lift them up, put yourself a little check mark when you do that. When you say something that might be like, nice hair, and you're saying it in such a way that's like, what did you iron your shirt with a rock? When you say things like that, that becomes a negative. So Hickey and I got a business card at the beginning of a shift one day at the grill, and we said, let's do this emotional bank account thing. And we went around and we did emotional bank. Under the theory, you have an emotional bank account, you can make deposits or withdrawals, and if your account's overdrawn, it's because they're working in an environment where the management's too negative. At the end of the day, I walked up and I said, if you're honest, let's go ahead and show each other. He is one of the biggest cynics that I know of, and I love him to death. But I mean, it's just how we operate. And we learn that about ourselves, that saying positive things to people go a long way. So emotional bank accounts is a big part of Cubby as well. And anything else, gang?
A round of applause.
All right.
Everybody.
Thank you.